You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 491 for Sunday, the 25th of February, 2024.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Jane.
Hello there, Michelle, and we have to ask, how are we doing?
Today is a better day than yesterday. Each day seems to be like a roller coaster, so some days I feel like I'm invincible and I've got it cracked, and then the old body just reminds me, ow, stop it, sit and rest and watch garbage on the telly.
You're allowed to.
I know, but it's just finding that sweet spot where I'm comfortable and then not moving at all. And when I've got to try and get all my fluids in, because that's all I'm allowed to have, it's really tricky because I have to sit up and get them, and then it's all, moan over. I've got a Disney podcast to talk about, Jane.
We have indeed, yes, of course.
I have been entertaining myself with the world of Disney over the last few days. Sort of doing these really sadder type things that I like to do to find out, ooh, that'd be a really good thing to do. Or, ooh, what about that? My latest thing is looking up where the best pancakes can be found in Walt Disney World.
Okay.
And I was chatting with my friend Stephen Clamasco, and he says, well, you did do the best bread pudding, so it makes sense that you're going to move on to pancakes next.
Just working your way through like breakfast items, perhaps.
Yeah, and I think pancakes can vary in such a degree because some of the UK airport lounges have those instant pancake machines which taste like a coaster. Not a roller coaster either. I mean a tea and coffee cup coaster. Or you can go to some of the more zhuzhy eateries and get chocolate ones, pumpkin spice. You can get macadamia nut. So I thought, this is really good. And I'm going to test out a theory that I know is partially true, because I know at Kona Cafe last time I was there, I asked for one pancake.
Yes.
And she gave me one with all the dressing, and it was the macadamia I absolutely adore, and it was a third of the price. Well, to me, one pancake is more than sufficient garbage to get me through the morning in any theme park. So I think any future trip now is going to have a pancake challenge. So listeners, if you have a place you want to recommend me to go and try and see if my pancake challenge can find a better pancake than the macadamia nut pancake at Kona Cafe, please let us know at info@Disney Dream Girls or catch us on our socials at Dis Dream Girls.
Interesting challenge ahead then, Michelle.
Yeah, I felt it was a little bit more interesting than waffles.
Yeah, it's funny actually. The just as a little side note, quite cool. The hotel that we end up staying at when we go down to visit our daughter Molly, she lives about 170 miles away from us. They actually have a waffle maker. You actually pour your own waffle batter out and make it and everything. And actually, it was quite good fun.
Can you turn her waffle batter into a chaffle batter so it meets with keto?
Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, digression is complete. We have got a major packed podcast for you this week. I hope you're going to enjoy some of the topics we're going to muse about. But I think, Jane, you've managed to find a piece of history to share with us at first.
Yeah, just one little piece of history this week. And I love this when you find out random facts. I kind of like those little quirky things. So this is 1927, and this is a birthday for the actor and Disney legend Dickie Jones. Not a name that I particularly knew, I have to confess. Born in a place called Snyder in Texas. Now, he was a horseman. And apparently at the age of 4 was the world's youngest trick rider and trick roper, which I just thought was like amazing. But at 11 years old, he was the voice of Pinocchio.
No way!
Yeah. So apparently he then kind of went into movies and did a lot of work in Western films and TV series all the way into the 1960s. And the quote from him was, Pinocchio was a tough job for me because I didn't like being so cooped up. I preferred being outdoors all the time. That's why I liked making westerns so much. Which I just thought, that was lovely. Really interesting. I
Oh,
love those sorts of things you find out that, yeah, just brilliant.
fantastic stuff. Well, let's move on to our first little soundbite, and I think we're going to have to start talking about Tiana's Bayou Adventure, because just literally after we finished recording our show for last week, it came out with the most stunning animatronic. And I've been watching a bit of the old YouTubes, and people are very polarised about their viewpoint on Tiana.
Mmm.
Can I start this off
Go
by
on.
saying Tiana's princess dress is the most stunning dress there is, in my
It
opinion.
is
She
absolutely gorgeous.
looks iconic and fabulous. But from day one, when this new attraction was being announced, they had her in an adventurer outfit. Why? You can't go on a bayou adventure in a ball gown.
No, this is true. A bit impractical.
True. So I think that's going to take away the whole "why is she not wearing her princess dress" conversation. There will be opportunities for you to see Tiana in her princess outfit and see her in that, I am sure. There is Princess Fairy Tale Hall. There's the parades. You will see her at Phantasmic. But for this particular attraction, I do think it's nice they have got her in a different outfit, in a different style, showing that time has moved on from when she sort of got to the end of the film. She is now a very successful restaurateur.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see because I don't know how many animatronics they're going to have of her in the ride. Because as far as I understand, the ride is supposed to be a celebration of her achievements and leading up to Mardi Gras. So they're going in search of a Mardi Gras party. So would she at the party be in her refinery? I don't know.
Maybe so. There is maybe something at the end. I don't know. One of the things I've been listening to is the number of animatronics, which you brought up. There was over 100 in Splash Mountain, and the only way that they got so many of these were because they wanted to do something with all the animatronics that had come out of America Sings.
Correct. Yeah, it was all the
Cute
I won't say
animals.
leftovers, but it was wanting to make use of them because they're a piece of Disney history at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Now, I don't know what the number is. I've heard rumours it could be quite as low as under 20.
Yeah, I think this is my kind of concern with the whole makeover is I hope it's not too screen based.
Yeah.
You know, I one of the charms of Disney attractions is the animatronics. They are world renowned for it. And I feel sometimes that if we're just doing projections and we're just doing screens, it's kind of a easy way out. And I'm not saying that they're not easy to do. I appreciate that from a technological point of view, screen work and projecting on water and all this sort of thing is complex, but there is something about animatronics.
Yeah.
And it's just that little bit of magic, that little special touch, that je ne sais quoi that makes Disney what it is. And that's where my concern lies with this ride at the moment.
I think the animatronic looks amazing. The outfit looks amazing. I'm happy with that. There has been vehicles being tested now.
There has, yeah, just last few days as we record.
So basically, they've got a hacksaw to the front and removed the beautiful Splash Mountain caricature and left the boats cleaned up, I imagine. That's all I can sort of say on that.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere it looks like some of the trim's been replaced on the seating, but they're just the same logs without the Brer Rabbit.
Chickapin Hill. Now, the original concept art, released all the way back, 4 odd years ago, showed a tree with a boat stuck in. Now, obviously, Disney have scrapped that. I don't know whether it was just going to, change the aesthetic of what they were aiming for, or whether it was a budgetary concern. That's gone. And it seems to me that they have bedecked that sort of splashdown area with every single green plant they can find on the planet.
Yeah, very green and lots of flowers. I have heard a few people comment that did they buy excess stock when they were doing Moana's water journey thingy-majig at Epcot for Naviti.
Yeah, because if you watch back on Disney Parks blog about the whole story of Tiana, the executive creative producer, Charita Carter, she goes on so much about how much time they spent down in New Orleans looking at the flora, looking at the fauna, and then for them to sort of get things that look possibly a little bit Moana-esque is a little bit confusing to me. All I can say is from a distance it looks like a big mound of broccoli.
Yeah, it's not that iconic, is it, that we had with Splash Mountain?
No.
You knew that shape and you knew what it was from a distance. I mean, I remember, crikey, when we were visiting the parks in the early 90s, we were there while Splash Mountain was being constructed, and then we got to ride it the following year, you know. So I think that's probably why it's little bit bittersweet for me personally. But yeah, it just looks like a green mound. And at the end of the day, we know there's no mountains in the bayou, so they're having to try and make something out of a flat land. It's yeah.
Yeah.
This is where I get into my sort of disagreement with it. It's kind of, I think Tiana having a ride of her own, no brainer, absolutely go for it. I'm not 100% convinced yet. I've still got a lot to do for me that taking Splash and retheming it was necessarily the best idea in the world. But we will live to see. We will live to see.
And unfortunately, as much as we want to protest and say, why on earth did they shut it? You know, even people like Tony Baxter has come out and said that, you know, the ride was not as problematic, you know.
Yeah.
And I've seen videos and interviews and saying that, you know, it was to portray the folklore of Black Africa where Brer Rabbit outsmarts everybody. And anyway, that's a done deal. So thinking forward, I think we're going to have a new attraction that is the bones of a really good classic. It's going to be up-leveled and princessified. So the queues are going to be massive. I know that. It's going to, I still think, despite it, in my mind now, going to be Splash Broccoli Bash, it's going to be beautiful. I just want to see how it's going to fit in to Big Thunder area and what changes are afoot with regards to that, so that it does blend and it does make sense and it does have proper Mickey-shaped beignets, please and thank you.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, we've kind of said that it screams out for little one of the food areas around there being transformed into a beignet. And is it Golden Outpost that they've been doing beignets recently, haven't they? So that would possibly transfer into that. I mean, there was talk about Pecos Bills being rethemed to Tiana's Palace, for want of a better analogy. Again, that would affect that whole area. So I know there's been YouTubers out there talking about whether or not it becomes a New Orleans type area, and then what does that then mean for the Country Bears and Big Thunder, and how does that incorporate, and is there something to do with the whole blue skying of Beyond Big Thunder? Who knows? You know, I mean, I've seen things saying that some YouTubers with their insider knowledge were kind of expecting announcements about Pecos Bills prior to the announcement of when Tiana's was going to be up and running. So I said, I don't know. It's going to be interesting just to see how it all pans out.
I think Disney have got the staff, the creativity to make it happen. The issue I would have is whether they've got the budget or the willpower. So, yeah, we shall see on that front. Share your views with us. Let us know what you think about the upcoming attraction and whether you've got any plans to go and ride it in Walt Disney World this coming summer, which is better than just saying late 2024.
It is. At least we have something to aim for now.
Absolutely. Although someone did remind me summer could go into September.
It can, but I also heard another take on that was if you want a log flume ride, you want it operating for the summer.
Absolutely. All those hot, sweaty tourists need somewhere to cool down. Okay, next one. Last week on the show, we discussed Disneyland Hotel in Paris and
Yes.
how it had reopened. We looked at some prices, we looked at the eateries. Well, now it's been open for a couple of weeks. The reviews are coming up on TripAdvisor. I personally do not know anybody as yet who has been and stayed there.
No, me neither.
I think that for most Disneyland fans that I know, I think they will be trying their best possibly to wangle possibly a 2-night stay there and maybe offset the rest of it by sleeping on a park bench. But some of the TripAdvisor reviews. Now, the thing is, with any review, and it's like those Facebook groups, people very rarely put anything positive on a review because it's a way to bash things. It's very rare people say anything positive. But there are some positive points in this.
Okay, I mean, it's an analogy we always use, actually, is because I do try to go and leave positive reviews when I've had really good service. And the analogy we always say is nobody ever says well done to the gas company for keeping the gas on, and actually you need to do that. You need to be able to make sure it's very easy to write about the negative, but it's as important, if not more so, to write about the positive and praise people when they've done a good job.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just like, you know, when you're going through your Facebook groups and you're seeing a poster put, I think it is suitable for me to remove my cruise tips. You just know the route it's going to go down. Boom.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so we have a person here reviewing it. Little bit of complaint, and it seems to be from a few of the ones I've read, that the rooms were not ready. Now, check-in time at the majority of Disneyland hotels, including the Disneyland Hotel, is 3 p.m. And if a few people saying the room isn't ready till 3 o'clock, till 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
I think there's no excuse for that.
No, I think possibly this is going to be the theme of some of the criticism is that you've opted to pay this hefty price tag. You're staying in a 5-star hotel, therefore you expect 5-star service. And one of the things, surely to goodness, is if it's a check-in time of 3 p.m, your room should be ready for 3 p.m. at the absolute latest, if not before.
Because that's that great adage, isn't it? You promise something, but when you over-deliver and say, oh, the room's ready at 2 o'clock, you get to feel that little bit of magic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
One big comment that seems to be also coming across in a lot of them, and I'm not going to name out particular ones, but is with regards to the breakfast you get at Disneyland Hotel.
Oh, I've not seen this.
Yeah. A lot of people saying that interactions with the cast members, the wait staff, isn't very good and they can't seem to understand you.
Eek.
Let's just remember, we are not going to America where there is a pretty similar language. I won't say our language is the same because I've got myself in hot water before by saying
easily.
I'm going to bake some pasties and show you them. And an American version is a nipple tassel, and my version is a sort of meat and potato pastry-filled treat. So, but if you're going to a different country that speaks a different language, surely they're probably not all going to speak English.
You would expect.
And if you're wanting to order a particular thing, we've got our little handheld device. You go on Google Translate and you can type in, I would like some coffee, black, thank you, and show people it. If you cannot be bothered to say, je voudrais un café au lait, s'il vous plaît.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you either learn a little bit of the basics to get you through, or like you say, it's not like in the olden days. We have technology now. It can help us.
Especially when most people have that device glued to their phone in their hands. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people commenting about the prices. Well, yeah, but you paid it, love. You paid the price. You paid the price. You knew how much it was going to be, but then to complain afterwards and say, oh, it was too expensive. but you knew the price going in. It isn't like I've gone into my local McDonald's, ordered a Big Mac, they've upsold me with a load of crap I didn't want, and suddenly my burger's gone up in double in price.
Yeah, I think the problem is perhaps the element of, you know, how much you're paying. You know you're paying for a premium experience. I suppose if people don't feel they've had that premium experience, then that's why they're then comparing the price.
Yeah. People complaining about things in the room not being restocked, such as toilet paper. Hey, high five, sister. I know that problem. I've had that at Pop Century, where I've had to ring up and say, I need toilet roll, I need coffee, I need towels. I do expect Disney to do better, and people should not have to make multiple phone calls to request this kind of service.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Everyone, though, is in 100% agreement that the hotel is beautiful. It is stunning. So that is a really good thought that I am hearing and seeing out of it. I think maybe there's just new staff there that perhaps haven't got into the Disney way yet, that need to learn some things, and yeah, we will see over the next few weeks and see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. It's quite polarizing when you do look at the views, because you have a combination of 4 and 5 star reviews going, yeah, it's great, it's lovely, it's beautiful, and then all of a sudden you'll get a 1 star review, and it's like, how you've got these two different sorts of ends of the spectrum sort of thing from staying there. But again, it perhaps comes down to customer interactions, like you say, staff that maybe are still finding the feet with the hotel itself, perhaps. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. While we're still talking about the hotel, we did say on last week's show that guests staying at other hotels and not the Disneyland hotel were going to be allowed into the park, into the hotel, and be able to have a visit time. It's now changed to that you've got to get a request via an app called Line Bertie. So you put your request in, and this is very similar to what they used to do with the character meet and greets.
Yes, yeah.
It seems very strange to me that they're not using the Disneyland Paris app, that they're using Line Bertie. But that's been a slight modification. And again, I see over the next few weeks that process getting a little bit more refined so that it can allow people to go in and enjoy the hotel. Maybe go and have a meal or something to eat or drink there when other hotel guests perhaps are in the park, and to buy in all the merch and put it on eBay for twice the price.
Yeah, it's a peculiar one, isn't it? Because I think it's that thing of, we're so used to Disney hotels being open to all guests. So, it's like me. If I was to go down to London and I wanted to go to the Savoy Hotel and see what it was like, I could walk into the Savoy Hotel and wander around and perhaps choose to have something to eat there. Yeah. I think that's always been the case. So this whole aspect of, no, you can't go in if you're not a hotel guest feels a little bit alien. But likewise, I've seen guests complaining that are hotel guests complaining that they're letting anybody in because it's taking away from their experience. So, which I hadn't really thought about before. If I've paid out for this 5-star experience, I don't want just any old Joe walking in and it being overly crowded. And I, as a paying guest, can't get to sit in that lounge room, or I can't get to go in the shop, or I'm struggling. So it's a peculiar one. And whether this is just that initial, because it's been so long coming, this hotel, and the height of interest is just so high at the moment. So again, it's going to be another one of these things. It'll be interesting to see as time goes by whether or not the Line Bertie will still be needed, or whether it's scrapped completely, or whether, just however they want to actually plan it out going forward. So perhaps let's give it a chance to settle down a little bit. And I suppose it's like anything, isn't it? If you choose to be an early adopter of whether it's tech or whether it's visiting a brand new hotel, there's going to be little niggles, and you have to kind of expect that, because it's until it's physically up and working and running, people doing that up and working running won't know whether it's working or not.
Completely
until it's
agree.
Physically happening. Yeah.
Let's move over to Epcot now.
Okie dokie.
And at Epcot, we have coming up in the next few days the opening of Flower and Garden Festival.
Yeah, come around quick.
28th of February through the 27th of March. I was so blessed to have been able to have been there last year, although it seems like an eternity ago now. And I can 100% wholeheartedly say that Epcot has never looked more stunning than it does at this festival. And I highly recommend that this is a festival that you need to go to. And for me, I would probably rank the festivals with number one, the Festival of the Arts, which I've never yet been to. So for me, that must be, up there, because I love the artistic interpretations that you've got going with the food. Then this one is number two. Then Food and Wine. And then my last one would be Festival of the Holidays. I know if you want to know more about my thoughts on Disney at Christmas, there's a Patreon show where I review the, oh my word, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. But yeah, I would put this one as number two. It's a fantastic little festival. Little, it goes on forever. And you get so many amazing things available in the park. Not just the food. There's some amazing music. Can you imagine, Jane? Your theme park ticket gives you the opportunity to go see the Pointer Sisters.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, isn't it? You have to remember with these festivals just what you're actually getting, the bang for your buck, so to speak, and it is more than just a couple of topiaries.
Absolutely. So whilst we're not going to comment too much about the music, we're going to do a little run through of some of the new food items, and they all tend to be clustered into the same new sort of booths, to be honest, isn't there?
Yeah, I suppose you could call it that, yeah.
So the one I'm going to start with is, I loved this one last year, Florida Fresh.
Okay.
And I don't know if of late you've been watching a couple of TV shows where our famous UK presenters have gone over to Florida and they've explored not only the architecture but the food. And for me, for the first item on this, that is a new one, just hits what those programmes were talking about, and it's a grilled warm water lobster tail with key lime butter. That, to me, I love that. It's something that I definitely would like to try. Then there's also a cubanito with mojo marinated pork belly, ham, Swiss cheese, pickles, stone ground mustard. Yum, yum, yum. Then
Nice.
there's a Florida strawberry shortcake.
Oh, I love strawberry shortcake.
I love strawberry shortcake, and it's going to be a really, really good thing to have, because I had the one there last year, and if there was one thing that polarised all the vloggerati last year, it was this strawberry shortcake. Some said it wasn't sweet enough, some said it was too salty, some said it was perfect, some said it was horrible. I absolutely adored it.
Interesting.
So it was really, really quite interesting to see a couple of new items along with that very, very iconic, beautiful shortcake on their menu. The next one I'm going to take you to is the Bauernmarkt,
The Bowen whatnot?
the farmer's market.
Ah.
So I love German cuisine when it sort of moves away from the very heavy sausage and potato type things.
Yes.
And for me, this has some really interesting things on it. It's not really new for this year, but they have the potato pancakes, they have a toasted pretzel bread topped with Black Forest ham and melted cheese, and then a warm cheese strudel with berry compote. Yummy, yummy in my tummy. So, Jane, which two places did you choose to go and have a visit to?
Well, the first one is Primavera Kitchen.
Ooh.
So very Italiano. So yeah, all brand new for this year. We've got a. I'm going to say my Italian is not. Yeah, my Italian is not. That's probably the way I should leave that sentence. The bocconcini, which I had to look up. This is my culinary expertise now. So this is like mini mozzarella with grape tomatoes and pesto sauce. Sounds very nice. I do like a bit of mozzarella. We have an arrabbiata. you've got a bit of an accent going on there now.
Hey, get you.
So, I know. So panette pasta, spiced tomato sauce, and shrimp. Nice take on that. We've then got a quattro formaggi, which I know is cheese. I do know that bit. So again, panette pasta and 4 cheese sauce, and then we're finishing off with chocolate cannoli.
Oh.
Chocolate covered cannoli shell with peanut butter ricotta filling. I was going to say that's going to get your vote because it's got peanut butter in it.
True. I'm always very interested though, because Italy tends to be one of those booths in every festival that has the most expensive food and the most polarising food. So it'll be very interesting to see how those taste out and what people think of those. So I gather the last place I've sent you to is a unique place that changes 3 times during the festival.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, which I was quite surprised about. So this is what they call it, the Epcot Farmers Feast. So now I'll go through because, like Michelle said, we've got different menus at different times, and there's a few things that are going to be available all the way throughout. So we'll start off with the early bloom, 28th of Feb through to March 30th. We have a veal tenderloin with spring pea risotto, arborio rice and red wine syrup, and a strawberry rhubarb upside down cake.
Ooh.
With creme fraiche. Oh, that does sound good. Then we move on to the springtime menu. So this is March 31st to April 27th. A seared scallop with tomato risotto this time around. And for dessert, we have a blueberry buckle with lemon creme fraiche.
Now, a blueberry buckle, is that like what we would call a crumble?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
From the pictures that I've seen, it kind of looks a bit like that, yeah. Then we have the summer solstice. So you can see how kind of like how they've named them: early bloom, springtime, summer. April 28th through to the May 27th. We've got a seared pork tenderloin with a corn risotto for this one. And then the dessert option is a peach galette with ginger and vanilla whipped cream. To be fair, I'm kind of liking all of these. They're kind of ticking a lot of boxes for me.
Yeah.
And then always throughout, you can get the grilled street corn on the cob with a savoury garlic spread and plant-based cheese. And that goes throughout the festival.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
It's nice to see there's a lot of new things on the menu.
Yes, definitely.
From last year, here are some of the returning ones that I loved last year. And, oh my word, Hanami the Frushi. Oh my word. I sat and watched it on the television at home thinking, oh, that's not going to be out special. It was so delightful in those warm Florida afternoons to have this beautifully fruity, light rice dish. Fantastic. Over at Brunch Crot, they had their fried cinnamon roll bites with cream cheese frosting and candied bacon. I could have sat and eaten them for England.
I remember seeing them last year, yeah.
Oh, they were so good, Jane. Go with your friends to Bunchcott. What I suggest is you get the avocado toast, have that as your starter, and then your main, you have your cinnamon roll bites. Absolutely fab. 2 others. I've already mentioned the strawberry shortcake, so I won't mention that again. The citrus blossom had the orange sesame tempura shrimp with orange chili sauce. This was inside the Odyssey building last year.
Right.
Oh my word. Such good value for money. So taste it. Not overly spicy either, because I'm a little bit spice averse. Well, I'm very spice averse, hopefully I don't have a hiatus hernia anymore, but yeah. That was a really good thing. Really good. And especially if you get them just as they're freshly cooked. Oh,
nice, yeah.
And then the last one was part of my I'm going to eat everything in bread pudding, was Magnolia Terrace, and they have a Bananas Foster bread pudding.
Ooh.
Yummy, yummy. So we have shared our tantalising treats for this upcoming Flower and Garden Festival. If you are going, please let me know. I am very anxious to see if there's going to be a Flower and Garden trash can set, because my collection is getting quite large on the old trash cans. It was quite funny. We were at the Disney Outlet last year, and I saw the International Food and Wine Festival sort of salt and pepper shakers.
Okay.
So I bought them thinking, oh, I must have not got them. I've got home and I've got them now. I've got 4. So, yeah. Hey-ho. So, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed our show. We're going to hop off now and do a extra special after show for our Patreon supporters. And if you want to support us via Patreon, not only do you get our podcast early, you get extra bonus content and the opportunity to win and receive lots of goodies from our travels. That's patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. We'd like to thank all of our Patreon supporters who are keeping our show advert free. So all you get is our fabulous content of us talking Disney for around about 30 minutes. Right, Jane, find us at Disdream Girls on Instagram. Not really using X anymore. There's a lot of bad things going on over there, so we're not using that. Still using Instagram. You can find our website, DisneyDreamGirls.com, which is your gateway to all past shows and content. And of course, our podcast, Disney Dream Girls Podcast, in all good podcast catching places. But until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.